In this edition of the TV News, an exclusive interview with former on-camera meteorologist and current United States Air Force reservist who is suing the Weather Channel for military discrimination. Stand by for the TV News.
This is the TVNews.tv, brought to you by CTAM Summit and CTAM Insights. One location, two conferences, one price to access both. For registration and information, visit ctamconferences.com.
Welcome to the TVNews.tv. I'm Jeff Grimshaw. It's Wednesday, June 20th, and we will dispense with our usual lead to get right to our exclusive judge and jury media legal analysis report. Now, Nicole Mitchell, once the on-camera meteorologist and morning co-host for the Weather Channel, is alleging in a suit against the Weather Channel that she fell from grace and was ultimately let go from the network due to her United States Air Force Reserve military commitment. We recently talked to Ms. Mitchell about this very complicated yet very, very important legal situation.
You've got a situation, when I was reading and I was looking at some of the information your attorney put out, where it appears that you're barred from the courts. My understanding is that you were forced into something which is called arbitration process. You're not going directly to court. The arbitration process is something that was provided for in your contract, and the Weather Channel has decided not to waive that particular provision to allow this case to go to court. Instead, it is going to arbitration, and that may have some negative consequences for you. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. A lot of people in this day and age are forced to sign arbitration agreements as kind of a condition to coming onto a company. And usually if a company is making you waive your rights, it's not in your best interest, it's in theirs. So arbitration offers some disadvantages to employees in general. One of them that's been explained to me being that, arbitrators are selected to kind of preside over these cases, but because companies can have multiple lawsuits and an individual might only end up with one lawsuit in their whole life, arbitrators sometimes, they shouldn't do this, but sometimes have an incentive to side with companies because that could be a repeat business. So that's one problem. Another problem in general is that arbitration is binding. So it's out of the court system. You can't usually get back into the court system. And even if the arbitrator makes a legal mistake and misapplies the law or misrules, you cannot appeal it. So once it's done, it's done. So that's a couple problems in general, and that's something that a military person has to worry about. And especially in the case of military law, there are not a lot of arbitrators that have USERRA experience. And USERRA is Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. That's what protects military members and from their civilian employers, making sure that everything is done fairly. So if you have arbitrators that don't understand USERRA in the first place, and for example, in my case, we tried to recommend an employer with that or an arbitrator with that background, and the other side says, no, we don't want to work with anyone that has military experience or knows military law, it's more of a chance that something could be misdetermined in the case, and then you can't appeal it. And another problem is, at least in my opinion, that these cases should be in court. They should be public. The companies should be publicly held accountable, and people should be able to see what's going on. So if it's an arbitration, you don't have that kind of open air viewing of what has happened.
Another question I had, and that's very good. I'm glad that you mentioned, a lot of those issues, because what some people don't realize is that just because we have the law USERRA, which is supposed to protect service members, which was signed into law in 1991, from these particular types of situations, that doesn't mean that it's applicable to practically help everybody in all circumstances.
That's exactly why I came forward. It doesn't really help my case to go public with the case. It was just a matter of, and we filed last year. So this wasn't a matter of us, initially trying to put pressure on the company or anything else. This was literally me going through the process knowing how many other people have been discriminated against, how many employers harass military members, and there's great employers too, but how many people are put between a rock and a hard place with their employers. And so knowing that and wanting to get that word out, but then as I went through the legal process, and first, we filed in court, and then that took a while, and then the decision to have us pushed into arbitration. And arbitration, besides the downfalls that I mentioned for a military member, it's expensive. In our case, I know the filing fee was about $8,000. So you're looking at people who have already lost their job, and then trying to navigate the expenses and time and stress of this legal process, and then end up in arbitration, which could work against them. It's something that needs to be fixed. And I want to get the word out that we need to, first of all, support the members, not put them in this position in the first place. But then if it does go wrong, the laws need to be better to make sure that they can navigate the legal system and have a fair outcome.
Well, we thank Gwendolyn Lindsay Jackson and Captain on the promotion list to become Major, Mitchell, for shedding more light on this. Now, in the coming days, here at the tvnews.tv, Gwen will have even more questions for Nicole, and I will have a few questions for Nicole of my very own. So stay with us.
The TV News Judge and Jury is brought to you by tvlegalnews.com, featuring media legal analyst Gwendolyn Lindsay Jackson. Log on to tvlegalnews.com.
Okay, make your plans soon to attend the only industry trade event where you get two conferences at one location for only one price. It's CTAM Summit and CTAM Insights, happening October 14th through the 16th. And right now you can save big with an early bird discount. Now, for information and registration, all you have to do is visit ctamconferences.com. And if you want to be one of our fantastic sponsors, just like CTAM, we'd love to have you. Here's how you can get started. Simply email us at advertise@thetvnews.tv, and we look forward to hearing from you. And that about does it for this edition of the TV News. I'm Jeff Grimshaw. We thank you very much for watching, and as always, go out and make it a good day.